Welcome everyone to People on Dating. I'm your host Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is about the ups and downs of dating and how to navigate through it. Today, my guest is Dr. Elliot Justin. He is the CEO and founder of FirmTech. Dr. Justin is an acclaimed expert in the rapidly evolving sex tech and wearables industry with a unique focus on the intersection of sexual and cardiac health. Dr. Elliot, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. How are you, sir?
I'm good. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
No, it's my pleasure. So, Dr. Elliot, tell us a little bit about yourself. What was that journey like? You're the CEO and founder of FirmTech. What was it about this company what was it that you saw in the marketplace and that aha moment to give you this push to, start your own company
Sure.
like this? Yeah. What was that journey like?
Well, I'll start in 2015. I live in
Okay.
Montana, and I ride horses. Uh, and I will say this at the same time, my background, I'm an emergency medicine doctor. I'm also the founder of the second oldest telemedicine company in the United States. So I'm really been interested in empowering people at home with the knowledge that physicians would have if they weren't motivated by secondary gain, meaning money. So
Right.
2015, I'd sold the company. I was in a really good mood. I was over in Paradise Valley. Yes, that exists. That's right, the next valley over.
Okay.
Uh, and uh, I was riding. Well, sometimes I'll put it this way. Sometimes I ride too fast, and I have this illusion that I'm a centaur, that I'm one with my horse. That can be a very dangerous illusion. Imagine being one with your motorcycle. I broke 6 ribs and 6 vertebrae, and fortunately did not damage my spinal cord. But it got me thinking about what can be done to rehabilitate men who have had spinal cord injuries, specifically to rehabilitate their sexual function. And there were a series of papers in the scientific literature saying that you could do it by implanting an electrode by the cavernous nerve or the pudendal nerve, everyone's two favorite nerves that no one's ever heard about, the nerves responsible for erection and ejaculation.
Right.
So I tried this out on 3 rams, male sheep. We called it ram charging. We got erection and ejaculation, but we also got defecation and urination. So it wasn't exactly bedroom friendly. Uh, my next step was not to go the conventional route, which go out and raise $25 million and go down to Brazil or someplace and test this out on men. My thought was, I'm just going to test it on myself. I had a friend who was a urologist. I had to implant an electrode by my cavernous nerve. Imagine, so we're talking about like the equivalent of cardiac pacemaking, but pacemaking human sexuality. I had implanted by both my pudendal nerve and my cavernous nerve, both sides. Nothing happened. I don't think these papers were. I think the papers are bullshit. But 3 years later, I'm doing medical technology. A professor of urology at the University of Utah approaches me and says, "I want to count the number of nocturnal erections that men have that are a leading indicator of men's cardiovascular health." And I said, "Really? What the fuck for? I never heard of that." And apparently, there are a significant number of papers. I think these papers are more accurate, saying that a healthy man should have 3 to 5 nocturnal erections. If that number goes down by half or more, that man is more than likely to have a heart attack or a stroke in the next 2 to 3 years. Well, that really took me aback. And I said, well, that's incredible. And that's like a sixth vital sign. It's certainly a vital sign that interests men a lot more than interests any other vital sign that they have. So this urology professor, like most straight urology professors, it was what I call a cock ring virgin. I am not a cock ring virgin. I've always played around with sex toys and interested in them. And cock rings suck. Cock rings, I got one on my desk here.
Yeah.
Cock rings in general, these hard silicone rings. You gotta get big fully hard before you put it on to get its full benefit, because it's a chokehold in your penis. It's like putting a noose in your dick.
Yeah.
Cuts off the blood flow. So the thought occurred to me that, and I never really thought about this before, but well, let's fix the cock ring problem while we're counting nocturnal erections. As a matter of fact, why just count the number of nocturnal erections? Let's count and measure all erections. So, William, we live in this incredible age of healthcare wearables, smart watches, smart rings. People
Yeah.
can get a lot of information about their health, but not about sex. There's a gap in that. So we've invented the first smart cock ring, the first smart wearable. It does three important things. One, overnight, it counts the number of nocturnal erections that are a leading indicator of men's cardiovascular health. Now, leading indicator in healthcare is a lot more powerful. In medicine, excuse me, in medicine, we treat associations. So high blood pressure is associated with stroke, heart attack, kidney failure, but it's not predictive. We treat it anyway. To say something's a leading indicator it means it's predictive. This is a really important number for men, especially men over the age of 40 or 45, or men with diabetes, hypertension, obesity, men who are taking antidepressants. This is an important thing for men to track because you need, in order for your penis to work, you need good blood flow, both flow in and flow and outflow. And it's kind of like you know, it's more important as an indicator of men's cardiovascular health than checking his blood pressure. That's really important. But one, during sex, it does two things. One, it's a really great cock ring because we've made a cock ring that's comfortable. We make our cock rings out of, I'll show you one.
Yeah.
You know, these cock rings are made out of soft elastomer. They stretch. They're, they're easy on, easy off. They're designed to keep a man harder, longer, comfortably, and produce more intense orgasm. But they also give men data. So with data, men can assess, well, how bad is my diabetes? How bad is my high blood pressure? Or are the medications that the doctors prescribe to me hurting my sexual function? Should I be switching to another medication? Because most guys over the age of 44, 45 have half the more than half are hypertensive or diabetic or pre-diabetic or obese, and they need help. In addition to which, we doctors don't think about sex when we prescribe medications, and that's wrong. I mean, I don't know about you, William. I've never had a doctor ask me about my sexual health. I've never had a doctor ask me about how happy my marriage is. I've never had a doctor warn me about the sexual side effects of medication. They're not thinking about it. Doctors think about, sex to them is like the least important. It's like it's least important in one of our body systems. Hey, we're dudes. It's after my brain is probably it's probably not, it's up there with my brain basically. Maybe
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes maybe more so. So, uh, so if you can measure how hard you are and how long you last during sex, you can then measure the impact not only of diseases, but you can measure the impact of supplements. Hey, is a supplement working for my penis or not working for my penis? Is this, and then the other things that are really popular today, testosterone therapy. Well, is it working for me? How well is it working for me? So men can now start to titrate the doses of things. You can measure the impact of relationships, as in, I get hard with that person, I don't get hard with that person. What's going on in my, in the relationship that could be producing, that could be having that impact?
Yeah.
If men are considering getting expensive shockwave therapy to improve their sexuality, well, you can figure out in advance what's going to work for you, because it doesn't work for everyone. It only works for men with mild vasculogenic cardiovascular disease. It doesn't work for men who really have really significant disease. So why spend $6, $10, $12,000 in therapy? That's not going to work when you can get data that tells you whether it's going to be the case. Or if you're getting that type of expensive therapy, whether it's testosterone therapy or stem cell therapy or P shots or shockwave therapy, you now can say, you can monitor how well it's making, how fast it's getting, whether it's working for you, basically, as ongoing. So, at FirmTech, we are about better sexual health for men. And how are we doing that? By giving men data about the vital signs of their favorite organ, and by improving their performance by giving them a cock ring that's finally designed to be comfortable and effective.
Wow. It's funny that you say that about doctors, but yeah, because when I go to any type of physical, take blood work, whatever, yeah, it's never questions about my sexual health or whatever. It's just, how you feeling? Do you have high blood pressure, low blood pressure, whatever? So, Dr. Elliot, one of the things is how important is a man's diet to keep, your Johnson hard, right? You got the cock ring, and we'll talk more about that. But
Sure.
talk more about, I guess, a man's health, because I've seen guys where you maybe they're drinking too much alcohol, maybe they're smoking too much weed or whatever. I mean, does that all come into factor?
Well,
Diet.
it all comes into play, and
Yeah, go ahead.
you can measure it. So there's a doctor who did a study using our ring. It's going to be published in the fall.
Okay.
He was looking at high glycemic impact of a high glycemic meal, high um, carbohydrate meal
Hmm.
on nocturnal erections. So nocturnal erections, they occur at night while we're sleeping. They're not influenced by variables like, hey, I'm watching porn. I'm with my girlfriend or my boyfriend, or I smoke some pot. I smoke some pot. So I had some sativa, or I've had some drinks. So the erections we have at night are relatively free, of those variables. And he found that um, that the duration of nocturnal erections was worse with a high glycemic meal. Well, that's really interesting. I mean, it basically says, and I'm not saying don't have dessert, but I'm certainly saying don't have two desserts. But if you want to maximize your performance, it's likely, not proven, but likely that a high carbohydrate, high glycemic diet is not on a regular basis is not is not going to be good for you. Utilizing this the tech ring, you can actually say, as a guy, you can say, hey, what's the point at which I can't ejaculate? And beyond that, what's the point at which I can't even get hard? I mean, my daughter wants me to develop an app that will actually send a signal to the girlfriend, as in, it could be William's girlfriend. I'll pick on you.
Okay.
Hey, it's our anniversary, and William's about to have his fourth. It ain't gonna happen tonight. Slap it out of his hand. And so, or it could be the reverse. It could be that your watch buzzes like, hey, William, you know what happens when you have that go beyond half a bottle of wine, or William, you know what happens when you have more than two tokes. It just is going to be a problem, dude. So so you really
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
you can learn about these things through using the ring.
Yeah. So talk more about when you came up with the concept of the cock ring, and you said that the other version that they had out in the market was terrible. How did you figure out that you have the new version, which is more on a rubber scale
It's
and
an elastomer. So
elastic?
conventional cock rings are made out of silicone.
Yeah.
Silicone is a harder material. It actually occurred to me. I had to figure out a way. I wasn't thinking about cock rings for pleasure at first. I was thinking about how can I put something on a man's body that's going to be comfortable for 8-10 hours while he's sleeping. And my wife had a stress ball, one of those squeezy stress balls on her desk, and I thought, oh, they're made out of an elastomer, not silicone. Let's make a cock ring out of elastomer. We tried making it out of silicone, and we couldn't come up with a silicone ring that was comfortable on our test group. I was on the test group. I was comfortable overnight. Well, we weren't even testing on men with sniffing ED. So I knew we had to make it out of an elastomer. And then one night when I was scratching my wife's back, because I would say probably half of the heterosexual sex in a committed relationship, marriage, or a partnership really starts when a guy is scratching his wife's back and she takes a bra off at night. And why is that? Because the bra is itchy. The bras are made out, the bras have a silicone strap in the back, silicone
Right.
band.
Yeah.
And silicone as a material makes you adapt to it. That's why we often see women, they kind of they stretched out because it's pushing, it's pinching this, it's constricting their skin. So our our rings open and close with a hook, because it occurred to me, looking at my wife's bra on the ground, not only do I want to make it out of elastomer, a bra is a ring that opens and closes. Women don't put on bras over their head, maybe a sports bra, but they don't put on bras over their head. They open and close with a hook.
Yeah.
Let's make a cock ring that opens and closes with a hook so that it's now easy on, easy off,
Yeah. That's
especially for
always the key.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, especially for guys who can't see their dick. I mean, I'm a lean guy. I look down. I'm dressed right now, but I can look down and I can see myself. I'm 71 years old. Most men my age look down. Most men over the age of 45, 50 in the United States look down and they see belly. So it's harder for them to put these these rings on. Plus, I wanted a ring that would not block the arterial flow in. I wanted a ring the man could put on when he's flaccid, because it's easier that way. It's more discreet as well too. So elastomers allow that. Elastomers allow the blood flow in. Silicone does not as well. And our ring just kind of constrains the venous return for the penis, because imagine a bathtub plugged 85%. We don't want to cover the circulation completely, because then man can't wear it for a long period of time. So these conventional rings, the recommendation is you shouldn't wear them for more than 20, 30 minutes. And if a man is high blood pressure or diabetes and compromised circulation, they can actually be dangerous.
Right.
All men, though, all men get venous leak syndrome. William, how old are you?
I'm 62.
You look younger. I was going to guess mid-50s.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, 62.
Nice. But you right now, you have venous leak syndrome in your penis. I do as well, too. So what
Yeah.
do I mean by that? Venous leak syndrome um, means that the penis is not holding blood the way it did when you were younger. Now,
Yeah.
there are a very small number of men who are born with this, and that's congenital. And I'm not talking about that. These are guys who, when they go through puberty, they realize that, hey, when I masturbate, I lose my erection. That's a birth problem, weakness of the sphincters and the muscles.
Okay.
But we have our small veins are called venules, and they're surrounded by smooth muscle. So as we get older, the smooth muscle weakens, and the veins themselves get stiff from calcium and plaque. And as a consequence, we leak blood. So, when you're 14 years old, you hold a girl's hand, you get a hard on for an hour and a half. Those smooth muscles are really strong, and the veins are really elastic, and they just hold the blood in. And this fresh stimulation. There are other things involved in it, but a big part of it is simply youthful anatomy.
Right.
At my age, I get an erection and I'll lose it. So most men's problem is not that they can't attain. If a guy can't attain an erection, see a urologist. Most men's problem is they get an erection, they lose it. They lose a variety of reasons. It could be anxiety,
Yeah.
distracting thoughts, medications, alcohol, drugs. There are lots of things that can do it. So to give men a ring that's going to keep the blood in, despite their weaker muscles, despite the weaker veins, is to give them a mechanical solution. And the urologists are not thinking about this. The urologists and most doctors, we're thinking about writing prescriptions and doing surgery.
Yeah.
What we've discovered with our research is that a ring is actually more effective than a pill. The rings put more blood into the penis. I'm not saying that guys our age shouldn't be taking a PD5 medication like Viagra or Cialis. They're helpful, but they put blood in. But my problem, probably yours probably too, is I don't have a problem getting blood in. I lose the blood faster because I'm old. So
Right.
the ring keeps the blood in longer. So for myself, a ring, I lose after I climax, I'll lose my erection in 25 seconds. If I take 10 milligrams of tadalafil, which I often do, I lose my erection in 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes. If I use what we call our maximum performance ring, which is our ring without the technology,
Yeah.
I lose my erection over 4 minutes. That's a stronger hard-on. That's
That
twice as good
is.
as the
Yeah.
tadalafil. And if I take tadalafil and the ring together, it's a little bit over 5 minutes. And there's going to be a paper. Someone else is studying the studies independently, but her research is going to confirm what we discovered internally. So the takeaway for men is put a ring on it.
Right.
If you want to have maximum performance, put a ring on it and take a pill. But the ring, I got guys to my prescribed tadalafil who tell me if it works, it's just in their wallet. I just had a guy tell me today that, and this is sort of typical for guys, well, I needed it when I started dating her, but I don't need it anymore. Well, because you need it because you had performance anxiety. You didn't really need it. You need it because something up here was saying, I don't know if I'm worried. I'm 62 years old. I'm picking on you again. I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm dating someone who's 45, and I want to impress her, and I'm worried. And guys can lose as they get older. You lose your erection, even faster. So
Yeah.
it's a problem. So a ring is a confidence builder. My wife and I, she's in the room here right now. We make love like 50% longer than we used to because we use a ring regularly. 3 years ago, I never used a cock ring because they
Right.
suck. You buy a toy once or twice a year for whatever, a
Sure.
birthday or holiday, whatever, and then you throw it out because they don't work. They're uncomfortable. We use our ring all the time because she knows and I know that I'm going to with moderate stimulation. There's no this rush to orgasm. Moderate stimulation, I'm going to last 45, 50 minutes, even an hour. So
Yeah.
for both of us, that's enormously, confidence building. I recommend rings to every guy, but older men should want to know their data too, because you don't want to find out that your data sucks too late. So we have something called the erectile fitness score. Think of blood
Mhm.
pressure for your dick.
Right.
It's on a 1 to 10 scale. If you are less than a 5 or less consistently, you need to see a doctor. You need help figuring out what's causing the problem. You don't want to but if you're in your kind of say the 5 to 7.5 range, you're likely to have a problem soon. It might be a year, it might be 2 years, or it might be a month from now, because we've had too many get cardiac catheterizations because the data deteriorated. So
Yeah.
it's really important. You don't want to be someone who says too late, "Oh, I wish I checked that earlier," earlier.
Yeah, one of the things, and we're talking with Dr. Elliot Justin. Today's topic is about men's sexual health. I love this. When you talked about pills, right? You got Cialis. Oh my God, I forgot what was the other one.
Viagra.
Viagra. Are men taking those as, like you said, maybe it's something in their mind or whatever, but is it necessary to take those pills? Because because all men want to last longer, like you said, performance anxiety. But are those pills necessary when you could, when if obviously if you're healthy, but if you have a good function, your dick is good, everything is fine, is that just a supplement that men will use just to? Yeah, go ahead, doc. I could.
Yeah. Well, there are men who need it. I don't, and but they can also mask a problem. Let's suppose a guy really needs a pill
Yeah.
to get blood into his penis. That guy probably has a cardiovascular problem. Now, if that's, I don't have a problem with some 25 or 30-year-old kid, if you will, who can't get up on dates, contacting whomever, on going online, and getting pills, because that person is 25 or 35, unless they're diabetic, is unlikely to be masking a problem. But for someone your age or my age, who has trouble getting it up, to go online and get a pill and not get an evaluation, that guy's making a mistake, because
Right.
that man could be pre-diabetic, he could be hypertensive, he could be having a significant medication side effect. He could have other issues too related to alcoholism. And so it's important. As enthusiastic as I am about cock rings, it's important for men who are older to get an evaluation.
Right.
And our more expensive product, I'll show you. This is called the Tech Ring. It's a good cock ring, but it's got sensors,
Yeah.
built into it. This is a valuable diagnostic aid for men who are older men who have significant ED. So I'll draw an analogy for your listeners, many of whom probably have high blood pressure if they're over the age of 45, 50. Many of whom are probably diabetic, or have heart conditions. If you, I'll pick on you and me again, William. If both of us, and we're buddies, said to each other, when I go to the gym, my heart races. It goes like 160, 170, and I feel faint. And then we both said, yeah, well, let's go see our doctors. And our doctors just put their finger on our pulse and said, yeah, William and Elliot, your pulses are really fast when you exercise. Take this pill, digoxin, come back in 3 months. We would think, what the fuck is this, 1900? I want an electrocardiogram. You're not going to take my blood pressure. You're not get blood test. You're not get a CT angiogram. But that's where they are with urology until the tech ring. Because
Right.
with the tech ring, they can actually just give you a number. Here's how hard you are. Here's how long you last. Here's what's going on overnight. Here's what's going on when you're having sex. And that data can help your doctor and you come to a better informed decision about what's helpful. Another thing we were talking about, you mentioned the PD5 medications, Viagra and Cialis. What's the right dose? So, when it comes to blood pressure, we don't just have one dose. Hey,
Yeah.
Elliot, your blood pressure's high. Take this pill. Come back in 3 months, and we'll, in the office, we'll check your blood pressure again. No, we encourage people to, hey, when you go to the gym, buy blood, or at home, get a blood pressure cuff. We encourage people, to get data in order to determine whether the medication is working and what the right dose is, because the range of doses. So a lot of guys, because this is the way guys think, uh, hey, if the doctor recommended 5 of the Dalafield, I'm going to take 20. Why not? It's a maximum dose. I want to get as hard as possible. Well, but there are side effects and there are risks. So if you have data, if you have a wearable, you can then say, well, wait a second. There's no difference between 5, and I know this for myself. There's no difference to me. 5 milligrams of tadalafil will keep me harder a little bit longer, but taking 10 or 20 doesn't make a difference. Matter of fact, 20 actually get a headache. So,
Right.
and the same thing applies with what else is popular for guys. You probably have a lot of your listeners are probably taking testosterone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, right, what do guys care about with testosterone? There are two things really that are objective. is my dick harder? Am I stronger?
Right.
Well, what the doctors do with testosterone, and this is wrong, what people do is they measure their serum testosterone and their free testosterone on the blood test. But what do I really care about? I don't care about my blood, my blood value. I want to know, am I stronger as my dick harder? So my
Yeah.
personal experience, because I don't have ED, technically, I have venous leg syndrome. I don't, I can get up every day, but
Right.
testosterone didn't make me any harder. It didn't change my nocturnal erections. I had urologists that told me that they expected that I would have more nocturnal erections and they would last long. That wasn't the case. So they're already prescribing things on a false presumption, if you will, because they don't have data. I still take testosterone. Why? Because my upper body strength in the gym, without pushing it, increased by 7 to 8% in
Wow.
8 weeks. So I went from curling, well, my last set of curls, 45 pounds to curling 55 pounds. Well, that was cool. So I'm still taking it. But
Yeah.
we have men who are utilizing our device to monitor testosterone therapy against the end organ that they care most about, which is their cock.
Yeah. They kind of,
Uh,
yeah.
s- you know, s- Go ahead. I
No,
interrupted you.
yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't, uh, wow. One of the things, doctor, that I wanted to ask you is, right, because we always talk about the morning wood, right? You get up with an erection. Uh, I had a friend of mine told me this, and that's happened to me a couple of times where I do have it, but then it's like I guess as soon as I wake up, it's done. Is it normal though to wake up? I know when I was younger, I was almost every day. Actually, yeah, go ahead, Doc. I already
You should
I
you
could
should
see.
you should have morning wood every day.
Yeah,
But morning, even at your age, morning wood and it goes away faster because you have venous leak.
yeah.
Morning wood is not enough. Someone your age should be having 3 nocturnal erections per night. You
Okay,
should be getting, and the average duration of those nocturnal erections should be about 60 minutes
right.
total. Um, if it fell below 20 minutes, you got a problem. So again, this is where data is
The
really
data comes in. Yeah,
is really important. Um, and I mean, the doctors used to say, "Hey, if you have morning wood, you're okay," but you're really not.
right.
It's you really should be having more than just one. Now, if you have sex before you go to sleep, it probably not in our database. And but I share with you, we've documented like 45,000 erections. We have data that no one else in the world has about what's normal. And
Yeah,
we're going to be publishing in 2 weeks a breakdown. Hey, if you're 35 to 45, this is what, if you're 45 to 55, et cetera. This is what we're seeing in terms of average number of nocturnals and average time having nocturnals, at night.
yeah.
And if you're that age, what's the average hardness on a 1 to 10 scale? Well, the hardness is really interesting because um, rock hard's rock hard.
Right.
So, I don't know about you, but at my age, rock hard for me is just the way it was when I was 14. What's the difference? So the difference is the time between climaxes.
Right.
And the difference is also in the number in the nocturnals. The nocturnal erections are more indicative of your cardiovascular health than your sex erections. And if you're a guy and you're and you don't hit on our score an 8.5 at least on hardness during sex, you need to see a doctor. You have a
Okay.
problem. You have a vascular problem or a medication side effect or alcoholism. The whole bunch of things that can cause it. The
Yeah.
psychogenic issues is kind of different. Psychogenic ED is estimated to be about 30% of all ED. I suspect it's probably a little bit higher. But that comes out of surveys, not out of objective data like we have. But if you're, I'll pick on myself. If I were having, if I'm averaging 3 to 4 nocturnal erections per night, and I can't get up with my wife, there's something going on in the relationship, or
Okay.
someone, or a girlfriend, or whatever, or boyfriend. If you're having nocturnal erection, effective, a number of nocturnal erections that indicates good cardiovascular health, and you can't get up with someone, there's something else going on. It's
Right.
not. A physiological problem. It's a psychological problem.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Or
Yeah, go ahead,
or
doc. I'm sorry.
booze,
Yeah, yeah.
or booze or marijuana. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, first of all,
And the
Dr. Elliot,
doctors don't. The doc, just to get by this point, the doctors don't think about these things. I had a I sometimes call my patients, but they're customers. But because I put my email out there, I speak to like probably about 3 to 4 men a week.
yeah,
And they almost invariably tell me, I'm learning more from you than I am from my doctor, because the doctors don't feel comfortable about these things. So I had a guy with who was taking Cymbalta, which is a significant antidepressant, taking a large dose for an episode of depression that was like 20 years ago. And he was also he was also he was smoking too much pot. And
right.
so I told him, discuss with your doctor stopping this Cymbalta. I don't know whether he discussed with the doctor or not. I suspect he didn't.
Yeah,
Uh, but he cut back to one toke, he said, and his dick worked again, and he could actually see that. It was it was kind of inspiring him to see that. Oh, I now went from a 6 to an 8 point, I would have 8.8, what it was, just
yeah.
by those two factors. So it's kind of cool for people to be able to track their progress with data.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely important because having the data, then you can find out what's going on with you health wise, mentally wise, and all that. Well, first of all, Dr. Elliot Justin, I really appreciate you being on People on Dating. I know I'm going to have you back on again because we got to do a part two. And before I let you go,
Sure.
you talked about your cock rings. Any other products that you have on the website that
Yeah.
might be
Before I do that,
helpful?
I want to say when it comes to dating, things are going to change in 2 or 3 years. Just the way they're going to. I don't know who's going to change faster, the urologists or the dating apps, because uh, we have 4 research papers that have been accepted for publication. They've already been presented at meetings. Another 3 studies underway. Another 6 studies planned. If the urologist in 2 to 3 years, if you're going to take care of someone with erectile dysfunction without data, you're not practicing quality care.
Right.
Now, then there's the gate. There's the dating apps. Well, the guy might make 7 figures and drive a Porsche and have 3 homes, but does his dick work? I think that I think it's going to be on people's dating apps. People are going to want, women, men want to know what that guy, his data is. I mean,
Yeah.
why go out with a guy who can't show you a 10 score? It's
Yeah.
inevitable. It's going to get gamified.
Yeah.
So on the website, we have 3 products. We have the tech ring that retails for $275. And it's a wearable. It's less expensive than a Whoop or an
Yeah.
Aura. Then we have the maximum performance ring, and that's $60. That's designed, and that's what I use. I use the tech ring 5 or 6 times a month. I use the maximum performance ring
Yeah.
pretty much every day, because it was designed to uh, prolong my erection comfortably, and most importantly, produce a more intense orgasm. It was designed to put the right amount of pressure over the urethra to draw out the ejaculatory phase. And
Ah,
so
okay.
my ejaculatory phase goes from 4 seconds to 7 seconds. It's an incredible. I never use rings regularly. I don't have sex without it. Why would I? It's better. It's a better orgasm. Uh,
Right.
and then we have a ring called the performance ring. That's for men who are bigger or think
Okay.
they're bigger.
Right, right. Gotcha. Yeah, I'll definitely put that on the show notes. Anything else, Dr. Elliot, you want to promote or talk about?
Um, uh, I really I just want to send a message to men, whether you have, especially older men, you want to know this data. You want to know this data just the way you want to know your cholesterol level. You want to know your electrocardiogram. You want to know your blood pressure. This is really important data, and you want to know it before you have a problem.
Yeah.
If you're just interested in having more pleasure, put a ring on it.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of straight guys, gay guys already get this, but a lot of straight guys say, "Well, I don't need that." It's not about need. It's about want. Do you want to
Right.
rock longer? You want to have better orgasm? Do you want to be more confident? And do you want to satisfy your partner? If you have inhibitions, if you think, "Oh God, take a pill," no one knows I'm taking a pill. Women are more open-minded than you think. They're not. This can be put on discreetly, or heck, just incorporate it into your foreplay with your girlfriend, your wife, or your boyfriend.
Yeah,
Put
I'm
a
pretty
ring
sure
on it.
she'll yeah, put a ring on it. Yeah. Doc, and if somebody wanted to get in contact with you and learn more about you, where would they go?
Sure. You can find us at myfirmtech, myfirmtch.com. You can reach me personally at Elliot, ELLIOT, at myfirmtech.com. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. We're pretty active in Instagram.
Yeah.
And I urge you all to, guys out there, stay firm and invest in your orgasm.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, I'll definitely put that on the show as well. First of all, Dr. Elliot, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye.